Welcome to the Through the Lens of Learning podcast. If we haven't met, hello, I'm your host, Dr. Tracy Schroyer. I'll give you 2 words that summarize me to a T: lifelong learner. Join me as I share a bit about my own journey of curiosity, learning, and wonder. You'll also get to hear from some phenomenal individuals on what they're curious about learning and what they have to share too. Are you itching with excitement yet? I am, so let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Through the Lens of Learning podcast. I get to discuss with Donna Boerger, one of the PRIME Pageant winners, and I'll let her tell you a little bit more details about who she is, what area of the pageant that she won here in just a moment. But Donna, before we get into who you are and why you're here, can you share with the audience how you define lifelong learning?
So how I define lifelong learning for me is the curiosity of something, and it could be of one focused subject. It could be numerous subjects. So for me, it was curiosity.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. So Donna, you are on the season of the PRIME Pageant Queens, and specifically the group of winners. So can you share with us, let's start actually how you found out about PRIME Pageants and why you decided to be part of it.
So I had actually been looking for a pageant system that was a beginner system. I had never competed in a pageant before. It was never something that when I was a little girl, I was like, oh, I want to be a pageant queen. I want to be on TV and be in the, Miss America or whatever. I'd gone through a journey, and I'll discuss that more with my next question you'll have for me of learning. And I got to that journey halfway through, and I had met she was Mrs. Ohio International 2021 at the time, Jerry Ward. I had met her through the stroke network. My fiance, Kent, had an intracerebral hemorrhage-induced stroke while working in Mexico in 2020. And I had met her and we had, connected. And I jokingly said to her one day, Jerry, I'm fangirling over you because you're a pageant queen. And she, kind of chuckled and she said, well, I'd love to coach you. And I said, what are you talking about? I don't think so. Me, when I laugh, I look like Gilbert Gottfried. I got the squinty eyes and stuff. So I'm like, no, I don't think so. And she's like, no, you totally can. There's women of all ages, all marital statuses, all sizes. Every background you could think of, women are in pageantry. And once I learned that and started doing some more research of the different women and what their backgrounds were, I was floored. Like, I did not know how much philanthropy, the professions these women had that were doing, as Kristen says, all the things and presenting so much to their communities, to our nation, and for their families as a pageant queen. So I'm like, I said to Kent 2 weeks before my 38th birthday this year, I said, you know what? I think I want to do a pageant. So he's like, okay. And I started looking through and I wanted to do something local, something small. And I had found a smaller beauty pageant. It wasn't based on any platform. It was basically, costume and evening gown, and it was Barbie themed. And I'm a seamstress. I made my own costume. I was Barbie Pilot, and I made my own dress. So that was fun. It was in a little town just south of Columbus, and I won, and I loved it. And I'm like, I like this. I like doing this. It was my creative side coming out in me. Mm-hmm. Well, then I started looking for a bigger system, and I talked to Jerry. I said, what do you think about this PRIME pageant? So it seems to be pretty new. I've never heard of it, which I didn't hear most of the, systems you don't see on television anyways. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I know Kristen. And I had reached out to Kristen and I said, hi, I introduced myself and I said, I'm interested in your pageant system, but my coach would like to talk to you. So they had a call and Jerry's like, yeah, this would be perfect for you. So I had my interview with Kristen and filled out the application, and I was crowned as Ms. Heartland Prime Ambassador 2022.
I love it. I love it. So let's dig into more of your story, because I know there is a lot more around the Prime pageants, and like you said, the philanthropic adventures and journey that you had there. So do you want to take us along and kind of what you decided to focus on in your journey and kind of what that looked like for you?
Yeah, totally. So with the health background, with not only having Kent have had the intracerebral hemorrhage-induced stroke in Mexico, during that year, during 2020, he was doing a lot of traveling, and we had added up the time, and he had spent like 9 months away from home out of the entire year. And it was just a lot of time for me to focus on myself. And I had gone to an appointment that year, and my doctor told me I was pre-diabetic. I was 36 years old, and I had witnessed extended family members go through diabetes, heart issues, joint problems, and all sorts of things that could have been combated by a healthier lifestyle. And I didn't want to end up down that road. And I certainly didn't want to be a poor role model in health or in any aspect for my own daughters. So I started learning. My curiosity struck, and I'm like, why? Why am I having such poor health? I think I make healthy decisions. I make healthy decisions for my children. Why am I 300 pounds and pre-diabetic? Why is my blood pressure 135 over 100? I didn't want to have a heart attack. I didn't want to have a stroke. And I didn't certainly want to have to rely on pills the rest of my life. So I started looking into intermittent fasting. I looked into the reason behind glucose levels and how we can naturally support them to keep them better. And then I signed up for getting my certification as a nutrition coach. And that really helped me to learn, to be educated, to make the right choices for myself. And I opened my own business, No Rules Health. And now I coach others to make healthier decisions, a healthier lifestyle without having to depend on frozen pre-made meals, pills, shakes, things like that. Now I do incorporate, smoothies or things like those sort of nature into the meal plans, but I want them to learn that it's not about counting calories the rest of your life. It's about learning what foods work for your body and why we need to eat them, instead of, okay, I'm hungry, I'm just going to eat a little Debbie snack cake. Or why are you hungry right now? Why do you feel the way you are right now? Why are you craving salty foods? Well, you're craving salty foods because you're low in magnesium, or you're low, so you're craving the chocolate because you're low in iron. So it was a very powerful educational moment for me to do that. And so once I signed up with my platform for Prime Pageants, that was my platform, was the obesity epidemic that is, certainly abundant in our country. And I wanted to share my knowledge and how I've lost 100 pounds so far.
Wow.
And I have 50 more to go, which will make me feel healthier. It's not about a vanity thing, it's about a healthier thing. And I'm focusing on losing like the visceral fat around my waist that will reduce the hardships that can cause on your internal organs, and reducing the pressure, because for every pound that you lose, you take 4 pounds of pressure off of your knees and your hips. I know, isn't that incredible?
Yes.
So with the 100 pounds I've lost, I've taken 400 pounds off of my knees and my hip joints. And it's just amazing what our body can do with the right choices and doing the healthy things.
Yeah. So when you started your journey and you started to learn about all of these pieces and what you needed to do to become a healthier you, was that like you had to change a lot of things at once, or did you take, little by little steps to get to where you are today? And do you have even more steps to go, I guess, on your journey?
Yes. So it's like I tell my clients, you have to mentally be prepared to be healthier. If you are not mentally ready to be prepared, then you are not going to make those physical changes, because you can buy all of the fat-free foods, all of the shakes, all of the pills. You can sign up for all of those programs that deliver the meals to your door for you. But if you haven't mentally made that decision that I am no longer going to make these poor decisions, then it's not going to work. It's not going to stick. So I went through reading self-help books, being a part of Facebook groups, and just kind of looking for my tribe that kind of helped back me up, and watching other people's journeys and how they made that decision. So watching those people, as well as my own family members, suffer and subsequently pass away due to poor health, I decided I didn't want to do that. I want to be able to, hopefully one day play with my great grandchildren and not just sit in a chair or be bedbound for the last few years of my life like my grandmother was, or have a stroke like my grandfather had a month before nationals because of poor health, and he passed away a couple of weeks ago. I don't want to end up like that. So I made that mental decision. And once I made that mental decision, it was little steps.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly wasn't, I went through my whole kitchen and threw out everything, because that would have just been a drastic change. That would have been like moving someone from Africa to the Antarctic,
Yes.
overnight. So I made the smaller changes, and I started experimenting with intermittent fasting. And that was really good because that helped to track my glucose levels.
Mm-hmm.
I used a glucose monitor to make sure that, I wasn't taking in too many sugars, processed sugars and things like that. My next step was we stopped buying processed foods. If we went out to eat, we would get like grilled meats and side salads instead of deep fried things and French fries. We don't drink a lot of soda. I do have a Diet Coke problem though.
Zero problem.
Oh yeah, it's just so good.
Yes.
But we drink a lot of water. Okay. And we've cut out, can't cut out a lot of caffeine in his health lifestyle, and a lot of sodium. I don't add any salt to anything. Mm-hmm. There's enough sodium in foods naturally already, and in some of the processed foods that we do buy, that we don't need to add any more to our diets. Right. And having the transition with your taste, once you start eating the natural and the organic and the whole foods, the food just tastes so much better. Mm. And you don't even realize that taking away the salt and the dressings and all of those things that we don't really need to add to foods to make them taste better already taste good enough.
So would you say, is there a food that you miss? And my other question kind of along with that is, we hear a lot of lifestyle changes or diets or whatever people call them talk about cheat meals or cheat snacks. Do you indulge in having like a small amount of that thing that you have missed?
So I'm going to be truthful with you. I don't remove things from my diet. Mm-hmm. I make them healthier options. I try to get on like Pinterest or websites and things, and it's about balance. So, last night, like we had an apple fritter for our snack last night, and I was okay with making that choice because I had done a half an hour weight workout in the morning, and we did a half an hour in the pool, and I drank water all day, and I made a really healthy choice for dinner. And, I don't eat an apple fritter every day.
Right.
I mean, because that would just go back to, what I was before doing all of these health conscious decisions. But I make sure that people know that you don't have to restrict yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, oh no, I can't have that ever again. There are people that need to be gluten-free because it bothers their stomach, their digestive system. And that's what you have to do. But then you find other ways to, instead of having a gluten-filled pizza crust, you have a cauliflower crust or a gluten-free crust. We still eat pizza. We still eat pasta. We just make healthier decisions on what types we eat.
Right. Right. So, along your journey with Prime Pageants and going through your health journey, getting your certification, all of those things, what would you say was one of the most challenging moments for you?
Oh my goodness. I've plateaued a little while.
Mm-hmm.
This summer, I lost, my goal was before nationals at the beginning of January. Part of my vision board was to lose 40 pounds by nationals. I lost 25, and I
Okay,
think that's really great still.
that's
Um,
amazing.
Life happens,
Mm-hmm.
and during my journey, my reign as Miss Heartland, we were dealing with a lot of things with my grandfather. And I had previously lost my grandmother last October. So, we were dealing with a lot of mental things with him, and he lived right behind us. So, being the eldest grandchild, I kind of put my weight loss to the side
Mm-hmm.
and focused on making sure his mental health was okay,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that he was going to the doctor and that he needed the things that he needed. And I think that was hard for me because I still hadn't learned how to balance the things that I needed with also giving that care to him. And I didn't gain any weight back, but I didn't lose anything. And I know why. I know why. And I also had an injury. I had an injury
Oh,
last
wow.
November. I ran my last trail race. It was a 10K. It was my first and my last. Um, and I pulled my plantar fasciitis muscle in my
Oh,
left foot.
no.
Yeah, so that's fun. I don't know if you ever had a plantar fasciitis injury, but they can
No.
take up to 2 years to heal. And so I wasn't able to go out. I was walking and jogging 3 to 5 miles a day, 6 days a week. So I wasn't able to do that. I was on the recumbent bike, and then my podiatrist told me not to do that anymore because of the stretching of your foot.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm like, I didn't want to have to go to the YMCA every day and swim there every day because
Mm-hmm.
it's 20 minutes away and then 20 minutes back home. So that's 40 minutes plus the time. I just kind of made up excuses,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to mentally overcome those excuses. So between having to, not having, but wanting to help make sure my grandfather was okay, and trying to nurse this injury and trying to quickly rehab it, those were my two things that kind of made me plateau and hinder my journey.
Okay. All right. And then would you say that there was a moment where you had like a big aha between the time that you signed up for Prime Pageants and then winning?
Hmm.
Anything that you learned that was significant that you hadn't known before, maybe?
I think there was during one of our masterminds back in June, and I can't remember what the topic was about, but afterwards I cried. Like, I broke down crying because I just couldn't believe all of the amazing women that I was surrounded by virtually and both within a physical location.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was just amazed that I was a part of that group. And I was thankful, I was grateful. And Kent said, "Well, why don't you, what's wrong? Why are you so upset?" I said, "I'm not upset. Um, 2 or 3 years ago, I would have never have done this because I wouldn't have had the self-confidence to do this. And to have the self-confidence to say that I'm worthy of being here is just phenomenal." So that was my moment when I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do anything. If I can do this, I can do anything. So I overcame a fear of stage fright. I overcame the fear of public speaking. And it was my aha moment, was probably back in June.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So one other question I thought of too was, so two things that I can think of that women who would love to get healthier, whether that's losing weight or just having a healthier balance, on different blood work that they have, different things that they have going on in their body. Two excuses are typically time and money.
Yep.
So what would you say to somebody who is really wants to do that, but they're letting that excuse hold them back?
Well, the money thing, if you can't afford a personal trainer, that's great. There's so many resources on the internet, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, that there's physical trainers out there giving you free information and free workouts. So the money thing, I'm just like, no, that's not even a thing anymore. And, if you don't have weights at home, grab grab a canned food, grab a gallon of milk or a gallon of water, something heavy. If you have toddlers, lift the toddlers. It's something that you can help to build weights. If you're a beginner, definitely do stretching. Make sure you're doing stretching so you have the flexibility, and work towards maybe, saving $5 a week so you can buy the dumbbells and work at home, or buy the stepper pads, or have your significant other build you a little block so you can do the step up and step downs. There's so many ways that you can combat the money issue that I'm just like, don't bring that negativity here.
I love it. I love it.
Now, the time thing, we have 3 businesses. I have 2 children that are in extracurricular activities. I have a teenager and I have an elementary school person. I'm in pageants, and I have to make public appearances, and I'm posting on, I think I've got like 6 different social medias between Facebook and Instagram that I schedule and everything. It's about boundaries and time blocking. And when you find something that is important to you, you will make the time for it. If you have the excuse that you don't have time to work out or time to meal prep, then it's because it has not become important to you. And when you finally are to that mental state that it is, you will find the time.
Awesome. I love it. Love it. So Donna, what was it like when you were up on the stage and then you were announced the winner?
Oh my gosh. It was indescribable. It was, I felt like a movie star at the Oscars.
Aww.
Somebody just was like, here's your Oscar, and I just reflected back on my journey, not from just the 9 months of being in Prime, but also my journey that got me there, that started. And I started trying to be healthier in November 2019, right after Thanksgiving, and during holidays is the worst time to try to decide that I'm going to lose weight,
Right.
So, I reflected back on that. I reflected back on all the people that I had met and been a part of, and everything that I had done for my family, myself, my community, and the people that I had mentored. And I was just so blessed to be part of these amazing 8 women to continue to help grow Prime, to promote it, to show that, a pageant just isn't about your physical beauty. It's about learning the self-care and, improvement, and helping other women, empowering them too. So it was a phenomenal moment.
Oh, I love that. So what are some of your responsibilities having this title, being in this role?
So we do have responsibilities to mentor some of the newer queens that come on within their first 90 days, which is really nice. They have the option to select whoever they like to mentor within the first 90 days. And then after they make it through the 90 days, then they're given to that division queen. Okay. So if they're a Mrs., depending on their age, then they're given to a Mrs. USA at that division age. So my people that would come on after their 90 days would be assigned to me as a Ms. Ambassador. And then I would kind of, block out times and Zoom calls with them and, answer any questions they have, and make sure that they aren't feeling like they're left behind, and making sure that they know there's all of these resources and all of these other women that are just ready to support them so they can get to that celebration point in their life, and to know that whether they have a crown or not, that they can do this, and we're here to help them through their journey, whatever that journey may be. We also are required to do once a month in person or virtual. I just lost the word, appearance. personal improvement appearances. And then we're each going to be teaching a self-care class next year, beginning in January. So I'll probably be teaching on physical health. And then, just kind of continuing our journey of our own focus statement for the year. And I'm going to continue promoting obesity awareness and healthier lifestyles and, mental and physical nutrition.
Great, great. Such a great platform.
Thank you.
So, Donna, is there anything else maybe that we didn't touch on that you wanted to share just about your experience and the learning that you had as you went along?
I think that, our director, Kristen Ayers, she's just doing a fantastic job with what she's doing with PRIME Pageant System. And it's so educational. It's so empowering. And even if you don't come on to get a crown and sash, like I said, and you just want to be surrounded by a group of like-minded women who are trying to improve, empower, and succeed in life, then this is the system for you. We are here to support you. We are here to help you, and we are here to help you be the best self that you can be.
Awesome. Oh, so one thing that I almost forgot is, so behind you, you have your X.
Oh, yes.
And it has a word on it. Can you give us insight as to what that word means and the meaning behind it?
So, tenacious. And I chose this word. This was part of our craft, our activity at orientation. And I chose tenacious because I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot since I was a young age. And, a lot of the things I've been told, gosh, you should write a book. I'm like, nobody would believe it. They'd think it was a fictional thing. And a lot of the things that I've gotten up and dusted myself off and just kept moving forward would have probably caused weaker minded people to turn to drug abuse or alcohol or, something that would have taken them down a dark path. And I just get back up and I soldier on, and whatever life throws at me, I pick out the positive and, try to make better decisions or try to help the people in that situation make better decisions and just keep moving. So tenacity is what I definitely have. I'm always preparing. I'm always making checklists. I'm always making sure that I'm a rule follower, and tenacious was just, I think, the best word to describe me and my journey.
That definitely sounds like a good word for you.
Thank you.
All right. So, Donna, if we have individuals who are listening that would love to follow you or connect with you or maybe even ask some questions about what you offer within your business or your businesses, how would you recommend that they contact you?
Yeah, sure. So you can find me on Facebook, Donna Boerger. It's Boerger. You can find me on my personal page, or you could find me at my business page, No Rules Health, on Facebook. And you can also find me on Instagram at health_queen84. That's my No Rules business page. And then also my pageant page, Ms. USA Prime Ambassador. That's it. So Ms. USA Prime Ambassador. I was going to say 2022, but that's the full thing. So, but yeah, you'll see my smiling face, and you can message me any of those platforms. And I also have my email. You could reach me at Donna@Bragg, BRAGG solutions.com.
Awesome. And I'll put those in the description for the episode when this goes out.
Great.
Too. Okay. All right. Well, with that, I just want to say thank you, Donna, for coming on and being part of this podcast and this episode. It has been great to hear about your journey and all that you've been through. I know you have so much more to your story, and it sounds like a book would be good. I mean,
I think so.
Stories. Yeah, those kinds of stories are the ones that sell big when they're not expecting some of the twists and turns that go with it, for sure.
Right.
So thank you, Donna, for being on, for being a part of this. Excited to watch your journey. I am following you on some of your Facebook and be able to watch your journey and what you do to help others. It sounds like you are just an amazing woman and all that you've been doing. So thank you again for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Schroyer. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to anyone messaging me.
Definitely. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode of the Through the Lens of Learning podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Tracy Schroyer, PhD, LLC. If you enjoyed this episode, we invite you to share with your network and keep listening. Thanks again, and have a great day.